CV, how many pages it is. And then we moved on the difference between resume, portfolio, biodata, and the origin of them. And then about the components of CV that we should add.
And what are the components we should not add?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And ma'am, actually, I had left midway. I copied notes from Aditya. I have only this much.
Okay. So I'll move to Anku. Anku, can you please tell us what we learned other than this?
Yes, ma'am. At first, we did the revision of the previous class, and then you asked us to write our millis. And then you discussed about the extra classes and why it is important. Then we moved to the introduction of CV, where we did the some yes/no type questions, and what we include in the CV, what we do not include in the CV. Then we distinguished between biodata, CV, resume, portfolio. Then we went through the origins of CV and resume, and then we just went through the contents of CV, resume, and portfolio. That's it, ma'am.
That's all. Thank you, Anku. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Anku, for being so specific and maintaining your records so meticulously. Okay, I'm so happy that you are doing it, because I was always afraid. People might lose track, because anyway, I am maintaining my table. But then, it's very important that the students also do that, so that it just does not become that you will just attend the meeting, you will join the meeting, and that's it. You will just lie down. So I did not want my students to have this laid back attitude that, okay, yeah, so I wanted them to be alert. I wanted them to be seated. I wanted them to maintain record and be focused about the way we are learning. So thank you for being focused. Thank you for maintaining the record. And now the chat box. Millie. Okay. So Kapil Dev writes types of CV. Okay. So it should be types. Okay, because there are three types of CV: chronological, functional, and combination. And Ankush writes knowledge about portfolio. Okay. Aditya writes difference between CV and resume. Okay, Aditya, what is the difference between CV and resume?
Ma'am, the length of CV is 3 to 4 pages, and resume only 1 page, and the CV is our academic representation, and resume is one page. Our sorry, ma'am.
Well, resume is one page. Okay, for most of the cases, it's one page. Don't even stretch further. Okay, if you are too senior, I mean, sometimes the scientists and all these things, they have so many patents, so that can't be put on one page for those exceptional cases. Otherwise, it's one page.
Ma'am, CV is curriculum vitae, and it is a Latin word, and resume is French word.
Okay, so and because CV means curriculum vitae means it's course of life, so it means it's elaborate. Okay, it's almost a timeline, it's almost a history, it's almost your journey. Okay, and resume is just your skill. Okay, it will just list your skill. So I'll give you few more examples to make it clear. Abhijit Singh writes introduction to CV, but then Abhijit, for each class you write merely in a very broad way. Okay, whatever we did is introduction to CV. For 2 hours we did introduction to CV, and even today we will do a little bit of introduction to CV. So introduction to CV is very broad. Okay, once you read others, you will understand that what do I mean by focused melee. Shaunak writes areas we do and don't add in our CV. Okay. Pritam writes difference between CV and resume. Shantol writes number of CV in a career. And Sunil writes difference between CV, resume, and biodata. Yes, we don't use biodata anymore for academic and professional purpose. Rajoshi writes only most relevant professional experience suited for the job to be maintained. Always. Okay. No one has time to read your irrelevant thoughts. Okay. So it's just that only your first point is important, they will read the second point. Only if the second point is important, they will go to the third point. Does not mean that they are going to read the entire CV. If the first section is important, then only they will go to the second section. If the first point is catchy enough or maybe strong enough, they will read the second point. So always write the most important things first. Always keep in mind the way we read newspapers or maybe any magazine. Okay, the way you just flip through pages, for HR managers, it's kind of flipping through pages. Ankur writes updating CV according to job requirements whenever applying for a different job. Yes, Ankur, we will be doing one small activity today. It's not just that based on the job requirements. Okay, even for the same type of job, just because we are applying in different places, we will change. Okay, it's not only the profile of the job, it's also the profile of the organization which decides the final finishing of the CV. Tathagata writes not to include irrelevant things in the CV. Yes, always keep this in mind. Okay, they're business people, you can't influence them, you can't impress them with non-substantial thing. Okay, I mean they know how to find the information. And Anjali writes resume, portfolio, biodata, CV all are different. Yes, definitely. Deepjyoti writes number of CVs one should have in general. And Debangshi writes components of CV. Not much, Debangshi, we have not started components of CV yet, but then I have certainly talked about certain components as part of introduction. Okay, so thank you. Hold on. So,
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Jatin has been Jatin has been trying to join from around 5 to 10 minutes, but it's saying failed. Jatin.
I hope he is using the right link.
Yeah, I sent him the link again.
Okay. So it happens with me as well. I don't know whether he is using laptop or any idea whether he is using laptop. Mobile. Okay. You just tell him to close the tab and start it one more time. So it happens with me as well. So I restart the system.
Okay. I'll tell you.
It's possible that maybe in some other app, another meeting link is open. or maybe he is not part of the meeting, but then somehow that meeting is active. Is this, will it help it anyway? Just tell him to.
I'll tell him, ma'am. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Ma'am, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. So it happens with me as well, because sometimes what happens is that I have the timing of all the Google Meets are the same, 9 to 3:30, because the timings are flexible. So that's the reason. If another meeting starts, this meeting gets ended. I don't know what happens, but then even I too have this difficulty, so I have to start again. Okay. So we have started CV. We have completed formal letters. Did you get some samples of formal letter from your class rep?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have completed formal letter, we have started CV, and my discussion on CV, I have divided into two parts. First part is the introduction to CV. That is what we had been doing. So by part of the introduction to CV, we will learn to know what is CV or about CV. And designing a CV, we will learn exactly how to write it. Okay, so one is the background thing and the other is much more focused. So we learn the actual CV. So we had been doing the introduction to CV part, and we almost completed the introduction to CV part. Okay. So as part of the introduction to CV, this is what we did. Presentation of CV, that it's not in report form, it's not a narrative, it's always in terms of points and bullets. And then application of CV, where we send our CVs to. Okay, to get job, for internship, for workshop, or even for special responsibilities. You may ask what is special responsibilities where we send our CVs to. So I'll give one example after 5-10 minutes. And that's the application. What's the purpose of CV? The purpose of CV is that after getting so many CVs, they will eliminate some of them, they will reject most of them, and then they will select some of them for the next round. So the purpose of the CV is that it should be selected for the next round. That's not certainly for job, okay? It might be interview or face-to-face interaction. So the purpose of CV is that it should be convincing enough, it should focus on the skills so precisely that they select it for the next round. Okay, it's mainly a kind of elimination round. And the types of CV, it's chronological, functional, and a combination. Most of the time we follow the combination. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so when we talked about types of CV, we talked these three: chronological, functional, and combination. Okay, so today I'll give you the example how the same CV will become different if I design it in a different way. So say for example my CV. I'm giving the example of my CV because you are familiar with my achievement, you are familiar with my skill. So when I say teaching skill, you understand what I mean. If I say research skill, you understand what I mean probably. So that's the reason I generally give my example. It helps me, and I also understand, I will be able to explain that why I designed it this way, because I know, because I did it. For others, I don't know why they design it this way. So for my CV, if I design my CV chronologically, the sections will look something like this. It's a chronological CV. I'll start with Assam University, and then I'll go to Christ University, which I taught before. And before that, I was doing my PhD. Before that, I was doing my MA. Before that, I was doing BA. Before that, 10th. Before that, 12th, and 10th. So this is reverse chronological, okay? Starting from the latest one, because the latest one is the most important one. That is the thumb rule for CV. The most relevant, the most important comes first. So because this is my latest job, I have started with this. So you can understand that it's chronological. If I present my CV in functional form, I will have a CV with these sections. So one section will have teaching, and then I will say, what are the courses I have taught at what level and at what university. And then I'll talk about research. And in research, I'll talk about my PhD and the research that I'm doing even in Assam University, or the research that I did in Christ University. And then will come administrative. The administrative responsibilities I have at Assam University, the administrative responsibilities I had at Christ University. Then evaluation for these two institutes. So do you understand? It's the same thing. But then for the functional one, it's skill based. So teaching skill. What did I do in teaching skills? Say for example, if I join another institute after this, so this will again come under teaching skill. What are the courses I taught at what level? Let me check whether Jatin could join or not. No, he is still not here. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, I'll just try to include Jatin by sending him a mail invitation or something. Just a minute. Be online. I'll just send Jatin a mail. Just be online. Any idea what is Jatin's mail ID roughly?
Ma'am, I'll just check just a minute.
Yeah, who is this Tiger Shroff in my class? Tiger Shroff.
I guess Farhan.
Please tell Farhan to change this mail ID. Otherwise, I'm going to remove him from the meeting. I'm not going to allow anyone with a fake ID. This is a fake ID.
But this is the email, Jatin's email in the chat box.
Okay. The chat box. Okay, wait. Wait. I've sent Jatin one invitation. Okay. I was discussing something.
He received the mail, ma'am.
He received the mail. Okay. I was discussing something. Okay, I was talking about functional.
Ma'am, I think there is some issue with his, link with his browser or something. The same message, failed to join meeting before even trying to join. It's a different issue, I think.
Okay, I'll come back to what I was discussing. I was talking about functional thing. Okay, so teaching. Okay, if I join another institute as a teacher, so I will again add under teaching, because teaching is a skill, teaching skill. And then under research skill, I will talk about the research that I performed in Assam University, in Christ University. Before that, administrative skill, evaluation. So do you understand how these two formats are different? But then most of the time we combine this both. So once I start showing you samples, you will understand that this CV, this is a CV and this is a resume. And you will understand that which one is a chronological CV, which one is a functional CV, and which one is a combination one. So that's about types of CV. And then the number of CVs we discussed, okay, isn't it? Because I gave you 5 situations, 5 openings, like photography workshop, student coordinator for TechFest. Okay, and if you are sending the CV to 5 different places, certainly your CV will be different, because you will try to think about that what do they want that particular opening. And you will try to find out some skill that you have as a kind of bridge. And the length of the CV, we talked about that. For resume, it's 1 page. For CV, it's 3 to 4 pages. But then this length can be regulated to some extent. To make your CV look little longer, because as a student your CV might end at 1 page. Okay, so there are certain formatting you can do to make your CV look longer with the same amount of information. And then inclusion exclusion, we discussed that these are the things we include, these are the things we don't include. Okay, just a minute. Okay, and then we talked about biodata, CV, resume, and portfolio. Okay, so biodata, CV, resume, and portfolio. I guess I also told you that how I guess I also gave you this example so that you can understand the range of it. Okay, your resume is your milli. Okay, very focused. Okay, it's skill oriented because I told you it's learning. It's very, very focused. Whereas your CV is your activity table. Okay, in a very organized way, it presents whatever you have done. Your portfolio is your class notes. Portfolio are the samples of your actual work. Okay, so here I give you one situation, and then after the situation, there will be a question. Please listen to the situation first. Okay, so there is this NEET exam, National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test. Okay, so in NEET exam, there is one paper that is physics. And for this all India type exams, the question papers are very, very serious. Okay, and you generally have 10 people, okay, 10 professors who work as a paper setter. So they need 10 paper setters for the paper physics, which is going to be part of NEET exam. And how are they going to select this 10 paper setters from all over India? Because there are many professors of physics teaching in many central universities, NITs and IITs. So what they will do is that they will send a notification to all the physics department of NITs and IITs. And they will ask the teachers, the professors, not all the teachers, only professors. That is a kind of elimination, you will understand, okay? So that they get less portfolios. So they will say that if you are a professor and if you want to become one of our paper setters, please send your portfolio. Okay, because after seeing the portfolio, they will get many portfolios, and from those portfolios, they will select any 10. Imagine I am a professor of physics in one of the IITs. I got the notification and I want to be the paper setter. So I'll send my portfolio. So what is the most important thing that will be there in my portfolio? What is the most important thing that I'll be including in my portfolio to become a paper setter for physics?
Experience and qualification.
Write it in the chat box. Write it in the chat box. Yes, thank you for the responses. Most of you are actually close, very close to the right answer. Pritam writes that you had set papers earlier. Pritam, I'll just mention that I set paper earlier on my CV or my portfolio. The answer is very vague. I said that what will I include? So I mentioned in my CV that I set papers for this exam. That is what you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe if you have said, then it is the most important, I think.
Okay, so you will mention that I set question paper for this exam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Rajoshi's experience and qualification. Okay. And Anjali writes that you have an experience of setting national level question paper. Okay, national level question paper. That will be the deciding factor. So I'll mention that I have set question paper for national level exam such as this. Okay. Anku writes the question papers the teacher has set for physics earlier. Exactly. I'll send the question paper. Okay, not just mention in the CV. This is a portfolio. Portfolio is about samples. So it's not just I will mention that I set question paper. Portfolio is more about samples. So I'll give the question paper. If the NEET exam is multiple choice question exam, I'll give multiple choice question paper so that they understand. If that is the subjective essay type exam, I'll give a question paper where there are essay type questions so that they understand what kind of a paper setter I am, because they are not interested in my experience or my qualification or my research. This is not research. This is the skill of testing. This is the skill of evaluation. So they are trying to, so they don't want us to teach. They don't want us to coach students. They want questions from us. So I'll give them sample of what kind of questions I give. Very, very specific. As I told you time and again, that please try to focus on what they exactly want. Okay. And Prakash writes earlier achievements in related subject. It's not even achievement. Even if I get an award as a paper setter, I might be very bad. Okay, you will see that some question papers are very vague. Okay, some question papers focus only on one particular type, one particular section of the textbook, and the rest of the textbooks are neglected. So there are certain ways question papers are set. Okay, so I will send my question paper. Okay, the question paper with that, in the question paper there will be university logo, there will be university name, and the details of the exam, and then there will be exam as a question, isn't it? So it's an official document. So I'll send that as my portfolio document. Is this clear? Many a time, people also send their feedback, official feedback. Say, for example, I want to teach children on weekends. Okay, so what will I add there? Say, because I'm going to teach children, very small kids, so there is no point mentioning them that I am teaching master students. That's not important. So what will become important? My feedback, that my students are kind of happy with me. So, or maybe how my students see me, be it BTech, be it MTech. So maybe I'll contact university authority, and if they have any feedback that they got from the student, it's not the feedback that we did in the chat box, no, something official. So if I get some feedback like that, where there will be some percentage, something like that, I'll add that, because that will present me what kind of, so that's a kind of sample of my work, a kind of proof of my work. So that's how we prepare our portfolios. That's the reason portfolios are 20 to 40 pages long. 20 to 40. I mean, it's just like a file. It's nice to see read people's portfolios, okay? Because you actually get to see what that person actually did. Your resume, your CV are kind of menu card. Your portfolio is actually the dish, is actually the food. That actually gives you the flavor or the taste of the kind of person, the kind of professional he or she is, or even the kind of student he or she had been. So that's how they are different. Portfolios are quite thick. So please be very specific that what they want. They want CV, they want resume, or they want portfolios. Based on that, you design it. And generally, they don't ask for portfolios. Very exceptional cases, they ask for portfolios. But then keep your portfolio ready, because in case you are selected for interview, you can carry your portfolio. And in the, what happens in the interview board, there is a generally kind of board. There are 7-8 people sitting together. and you might hand over your portfolio to one of them. So while you answer question to others, while you answer to others' question, one person will have a look of your nature of work. Okay, so generally they don't ask us to send portfolios, except in very exceptional cases they ask. Otherwise, we keep our portfolios ready for the time of interview. In case they want us to submit our portfolios, see our portfolio, then we show them. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so these are the things we learned as part of our introduction to CV. Okay, if you scroll up, you will see that this is all we had as part of the introduction of CV, biodata CV, resume, portfolio. And now the introduction part is over. Now it's the actual designing of CV. And designing of CV, we have three parts. Okay, I'll divide my discussion, I'll divide my lecture on designing CV on three parts. The first, we have components. Okay, what are the sections we have in our CV? And then we will talk about formatting, and then we will talk about the finishing, because formatting is important because CV is an extremely structured document. And finishing because sometimes, it's just to add the special effects. The finishing is never the deciding factor. The finishing, it's kind of the filter that we use for our photos. Okay, it just adds to the effect of it. It does not change the actual content, but then it's just the finishing. But then the finishing is never the deciding factor. Okay, so this is how I'm going to divide my discussion on designing CV. So till now, if you have any doubt, you can ask me.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible. My microphone was on mute. Yes, tell me.
Okay, ma'am, actually it's not a doubt. I just want to ask you that whatever we are doing today in this class, so tomorrow we have to submit our activity table and class notes. So it should be updated till today's class or only till previous class?
If you have anyone would like to answer Tamalika's question that your activity table should include today's class, or till which date your activity table should have data on? Anyone?
Today's class also should be included. Latest.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Is it only latest? Anyone else?
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Anjali.
Yeah. No, Tamalika. Anjali, there is more. In your activity table, it should be till your exam. Okay. If you read...
Ma'am, we don't have more classes until our exam.
Yes? I did not get your question, Pritam.
Ma'am, it's our last class before exam.
I know that.
It should include the exam hours itself.
Yes.
In the 26th September.
If you read one of my posts, I mentioned it, that your activity table, it should have till the test. So you should put 26th of September, and in general, it will be internal assessment 1, and in specific, you will write one specific, you might write 3 components in specific. Is this clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I wrote it in the chat box. You don't read those messages that I write. Otherwise, I generally try to answer beforehand. So it should be till your internal assessment. And I also told you what you will be in the general. In the general, it will be internal assessment 1, and in specific, you will mention the 3 components. That's it. Okay, so now it's about components. Okay, so I have posted it in the chat box. Have a look of them. Okay, so there are a few points. These are mainly the sections under which we divide or segregate our informations. But then please keep in mind that all these can't be compulsory for all the CVs. Some of them are compulsory, some of them.
Ma'am?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, you've already shared this now in yesterday's class.
Okay, I shared this in the yesterday's. I shared this list in the yesterday's class.
Yes, ma'am, I think.
Okay. Did I give an overview of it? Did I or I just shared?
Just shared.
Just shared. Okay, Vikiran, thank you. Okay, so I'll come to each of these components. The first one is personal info, and under personal info, we add 2 things. One is the present designation, name and present designation. The other one is the contact info. This is the most important part of your CV. Okay, that's the reason. What we do is that this personal info is either on the top of your CV. CVs are generally printed on A4 paper. Okay, don't experiment with other type of paper, legal or A3 or something like that. CVs are always printed. Okay, we don't use handwritten CV. We print it. So it's always on A4 paper, and your personal info, which combines both your present designation and contact info, should come on the top of your CV. Or on some CVs, you will see that it is there is a small left panel, and on that left panel, there is this present designation and contact info. But then by looking at the CV, you will understand that this is segregated, this is different from the rest of the CV. Okay, either there will be a line, or there will be some kind of shadow or something like that, or maybe the font size will be different, font type will be different. But then by looking at the CV, we'll understand that this section is different from the other section. This is the most highlighted part of your CV. Okay, so under personal information, we add present designation and contact info. Okay, so what will you add in your present designation? So for example, if you are applying to any place for any vacancy, what will you add in your present designation section? Don't add name, just what will you add in your present designation section? Anyone? What will you add?
Ma'am, can you repeat, please?
Okay, the thing is that the question was that the top part of your CV will have your personal information, and personal information have two sections. One is present designation and the other is the contact info. So if you are applying in any place now as with your present status, what you will write under present designation? Is there any present designation for you, or there is no present designation? If there is any present designation, what will you write under present designation? Very good. I've seen 3-4 answers. Very good, very good. Vikiran, Tritam, Soham, Anku. Very good. Anyone else? Yes. So Vikiran will write student. Okay, but then do you think Vikiran is specific enough? If in a third standard student is a student, a PhD student is also a student. So student is a very, very broad term. Okay, even I am a student. So this is not very specific. Pritam, job title? No, you don't have a job title. So Soham writes student pursuing BTech in CSE in 3rd semester at Assam University. Yes, Soham. But then do you think there are a few extra words here? I mean, can you make it little precise? Because as I told you, I mean, even a small space on your CV is very crucial. Okay, your information are correct, but then is there any better way of presenting it, occupying less space? Anku writes BTech CSE second year student, but then Anku second year will have 3rd sem and 4th sem. So do you understand that your answer can be made more specific? Okay, Shayantan writes BTech CSE 3rd semester student. Very good, very good. 3rd semester student. So you are not only student, okay, and you are not adding extra information like at, pursuing, in. So you just mention only the important words. BTech CSE 3rd sem student. And Anjali BTech student TSSOT second year. Again, Anjali second year will have 3rd sem and 4th sem. We need to know, because the 6 months matter, because when you say that I'm a BTech 3rd sem student, and when you say I am BTech 4th sem student of CSE, I have some idea about the syllabus. So when you say 3rd sem student, I will know that okay, his knowledge level, his or her knowledge level is this. But when you say I'm 4th sem, so I will know that it's little more than that. Rajoshi writes BTech 3rd sem student, computer science, and see, Rajoshi has not used any acronym. Very good. But then TSSOT is an acronym. Good. But then computer science and engaging. Assam University, BTech student.
To complete it, that's why I wrote TSSOT. Otherwise, I would have written that complete.
Sorry, I did not get it.
Ma'am, to send it faster, I just wrote TSSOT. Otherwise, I would have written sense.
You wanted to send it fast. Okay, okay. Also, there is a kind of peer pressure that I have to write first. Okay, but then it's also important. But then I am happy that you wrote computer science and engineering in full. And then Rakesh writes
fast,
like I guess I'm missing something. Okay, so Rakesh writes Assam University BTech student. Rakesh, there are hundreds of Assam University BTech students. Okay, you have completed your first semester, your final semester. Okay, so it's very vague. Assam University 3rd semester student in BTech, but then the formatting is not right. Pritam writes engineering student BTech, but then when you say engineering, the idea is there in BTech itself. So this engineering is redundant. Okay. Okay. Just a minute. Yes. Your name, your surname, student, BTech, third sem, and then that this way. Okay, so you can have a look at the chat box. If I write it, because I can't add this third sem, okay? So because you are a student, and that's the reason you can add third sem, okay? So for me, I'll add it this way. Okay, so that they will understand that at what level I am, okay? For you, with how much of knowledge you have, whether you are a third sem student, you are a final year student, you are just first sem student, and then for me, they will understand that for how long I had been working for this institution. So that's how you write, okay? So present designation does not mean that it's only job. As a student, that's your designation. Okay, but then imagine a situation, you have completed your BTech and then you are sitting at home and then you started applying. So then you can't claim that you are a student because you already got a degree and you don't have a job title as well to add in your designation. So for that, you don't have anything to write under designation. But then student is a designation. If you have a job, mention the designation of the job, even if it's an unpaid job. If it's a paid job, add. If it's an unpaid job, say for example, you are doing an internship, so you can write intern, then 2018 to present, or maybe 6 months from Jan to July, something like that. The duration of it, of your internship, is 6 months, 1 year, and sometimes the internships are without pay. But then that's your designation because you are learning something, isn't it? You are doing a job. It's without pay because you are a fresher and you are learning a thing. It's almost a kind of training. That's the reason you don't have salary pay slip. But then that is still a designation. So it's good if you can have a designation. But then it's not always possible to have designation. If you have designation, write it in this way, in this detailed way. And then there comes the other details like contact information and all. Okay, so Pritam, Sunil, Rakesh, Rajoshi, Anjali, Shayantan, Anku, Soham, Pritam, Vikiran, I hope you got some kind of clarity. You responded in the chat box, so that's the reason I'm just mentioning your names. That most of you are kind of very close of how to write. It's just that little formatting and maybe some words which are not important, because when you are mentioning BTech, it's assumed that it's engineering. Okay, so this is how in the chat box we write it. Okay, so then there is we mention our name. We mention our name and the name on our CV, be it on the top part, be it on the left panel. Your name is the most important part of your CV, and that's the most highlighted part of your CV. So how you can highlight it? Not by using any fluorescent color. By highlight, I don't mean it's fluorescent color. By highlight, I mean you can either make it a little bigger than the rest of the CV, or you can make it bold, like thick, or you can write it in italics. Okay, so the rest of your CV is in normal font, but then your name is in italics, so naturally it's kind of highlighted. Or you can use a different font for your name. So that's how you kind of highlight it, by size, by bold, by type, okay, by formatting, italics, bold, different font size, different font type. So that's how you add your name. If you are using size, generally we add 16 font size or 18 font size. Okay, that's it, because for the rest of the CV, it's 12 font size. Those who have used MS Word, you will understand that you can decide the size of your font. Okay, so generally for the rest of the CV, for the main content of the CV, we follow 12 font size. For heading, it's 14. For name, it's 16 or 18. based also again on the font, because some fonts are normally small, some fonts are normally big. So just use all these things, look which one is looking fine, use that. Designation, job title, and then be descriptive. Okay, as I told you, don't just write student, write student, third sem, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Student is a vague thing. Same is for manager. What manager? There are many managerial things. So it's not just manager, it's accounts manager. For me, it's not just faculty, it's not just teacher. I have to mention it as assistant professor. So be very, very descriptive, so that by looking at your job description or job title, they get the idea of what kind of skill you are achieving, or maybe the what kind of responsibilities you are meeting. Manager manager is a very vague term. Student, even a student of history is a student, isn't it? So if you don't specify these details like department, semester, things remain little vague. So make it descriptive and provide the name of the, if you are adding this designation, then also provide the institution, company, name of the institution, name of the organization, name of the company, even if it's a non-paid job, even if you are doing internship as a non-paid intern. Okay, and then optional. I told you, that there are certain parts in your CV which certain formatting, if you add in your CV, it looks little longer. Okay, so imagine you are intern, you are doing internship in a startup. You are doing internship in a startup. So you give the name of the startup and then provide the URL, the web address. Okay, the address of the website or web page of that startup, so that if I want to know what kind of job you are doing, because intern is again very vague. Okay, so I want to know specifically what kind of job you are doing. I can click on it and I can understand, because by looking at the company profile, I'll understand what kind of job you are doing. So if you mention that you are doing internship in a startup which are on e-marketing, so I understand that what is your domain. Okay, if you are doing an internship with a banking company, so I understand that what kind of job roughly you are doing. But then if it's a very well-known company, then don't put URL, because it's assumed. If you are working for Amazon, if you are a team lead of Amazon, so for Amazon you don't need to, because by looking at Amazon I will know that what kind of job you are doing. Okay, so if it's a not that much known organization or institution, provide an URL. As I told you, this is a kind of tactics to make your CV look little longer. This is mostly for the students who do it. Okay, and then start. Okay, date. As I told you, third sem. For you, third sem is providing the function of the date. For me, 2018 is providing the function of the date. So if you are doing internship, mention that Jan to July 2020. So by date, I don't exactly mean date, so that you provide a timeline so that they can understand that whether you are still doing it, you are almost towards the end. So because if you write a student computer science and engineering 8th semester, so I know that you are almost ready for job. Okay, so that's how it becomes important. Okay, so if you write student 3rd sem, so I know that, see, I am working on data mining, I'm working on artificial intelligence, and a 3rd sem student might not have much knowledge about artificial intelligence, so probably I won't take that student for my workshop. Okay, so that's the reason your semester becomes important. They give you the idea of the status and location, because you also provide the details of the location, like School of Technology, Assam University, Silchar. Okay, if you are applying somehow anywhere in Assam, it's fine. But then if you are sending your CV to Gujarat and you stop at Silchar, people at Gujarat might not know where Silchar is. Okay, and they are not going to spend time to search for it. So if you are sending your CV to Gujarat or Rajasthan, mention Silchar, Assam. If you are sending your CV outside India, mention Silchar, Assam, India, because they don't know where Assam is. Okay, because they need to know, kind of the culture that you are part of. So that's how. So keep in mind the location becomes important. But then if you are sending your CV to MIT Silchar, probably you don't need to mention India. Okay, so that's how it is. That you have to keep in mind that where you are sending the CV, based on that you provide the details of the location. Next is contact information, which is, oh sorry, I'm sorry to discard it. Sorry. There is a link, discard it. That link is not the right link. I'll provide another link. Okay, so just discard that link. I use that as a link, but then that's not a good example of a CV. Okay, so the next one is the contact information. What we add under contact information, we add postal address, we add email ID, we add mobile number, and the last one is an optional. Okay, but then if you are adding postal address, please make sure that everything is correct and there is someone available at that postal address. And then email, always use professional looking email ID. Okay, as I told you, this is a professional area. This is a professional domain. So make your CV look professional, because that's how you create your first impression. And then mobile number, use a mobile number that's reachable. And if you change your mobile number, send your updated CV with the updated mobile number. Always keep in mind that you left your CV in a one place 6 months back, and meanwhile you have changed your number. You should send the updated version. Okay, because that's how they will try to reach you. And the fourth one is a link for LinkedIn profile or academia edu or faculty web page. What is that? This is optional. Most of us have Facebook profile. Facebook profile, what is Facebook profile? It's a kind of virtual world for friendship. So, it's a social, it presents you as how you are as a social being. Okay, your friends, your happiness, your celebration, where you are traveling. So it presents you what kind you are as a social being. LinkedIn is something similar, but then LinkedIn is a professional profile. Okay, so it's virtual, but then it mainly presents your professional achievement. Okay, I'll share one LinkedIn profile so you will understand what do I mean by. So it will have only very important your professional achievement and what you are doing. You can also have academia edu. This is mostly for people in academics. LinkedIn is mostly used in corporate and in industry, and also for academic people. Academia is mainly for academic people, because as I told you, for academic people there will be certain information which are important, like publication, conference, workshop, which are not very much applicable in corporate and industry. Or you can also provide the link of your faculty web page. If you are a faculty in a department, so in every department they have a faculty web page. You can also provide the institutional link of the faculty web page, so that if they want, they can have a look of it. So I'll just share two links of the same person. So just a minute. So there is a link of one of the professors at IIT Kharagpur, Pallab Dasgupta. This is a faculty web page. Please click on it and just have a look of it. What do I mean by faculty web page? Click on the link, you will understand. So you will see there is profile, research, publication, courses. I hope all of you are checking the link of this faculty. And you will see that research, publication, all these tabs are there. You can actually navigate through them and try to understand what this person is doing. Okay, did you check? Anyone using the microphone? Did you check the link? What do I mean by
ma'am.
Yes. So you don't have to explore, you don't have to gather information. This is, I gave as an example of what do I mean by faculty web page. You will see that it's an IIT Kharagpur's part of IIT Kharagpur's website. And if you go to computer science department and then if you go to faculty and then if you go to Pallav Dasgupta, you are there. Okay. So and then you can explore actually what are the books he has written, if he has any patent, what are the publication he has, what are the PhD he has guided. So it's almost a kind of a portfolio, almost. Okay, there are huge information within that link, and this is the LinkedIn profile of the same person. Just check how LinkedIn look like, how LinkedIn is different from Facebook. Because Facebook is social, LinkedIn is professional. So just have a look, it's the same person. Okay, did you check it? All of you? The second link, LinkedIn link?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So this is just how a LinkedIn profile, when I say that you might get confused what is LinkedIn or what is faculty web page, this is how a faculty web page or this is how a LinkedIn look like. So if you have any such profile, you can add it, okay? Because for your CV, you are just taking one small line, but then if they are interested, they can actually click on it and they can explore much more about you. Okay, if they are really interested in your CV or maybe in your profile. So that's how you do it. You create these professional profiles. So this is what I meant by LinkedIn profile or faculty web page. But please keep in mind, we don't add our Facebook profile or our Twitter or anything like that. These are not professional things. Okay, faculty web page, department web page, institutional web page is official, professional. LinkedIn is professional. Academia Edu is professional. Please keep in mind. Or you might also give Google Scholar. Okay, Google Scholar is again something for scholars. So these are the professional profile that you can add under contact information. Then this is the first component and the most highlighted component in your CV. Then comes objective and summary. In some CVs, you will see that towards the top almost towards the top. Okay, objective summary never comes towards the back. It's always on the first page and on the top part of the front page. It's something like written career you can people write it career objective, or you can also see come across something like professional summary. Okay, so by looking at these two terms, the first one is career objective and the second one is professional summary. Okay, can you try to guess the difference, or they are the same thing or they are different? If they are different, how they are different, or maybe they are the same thing, your career objective and your professional summary. It's mostly written in sentences, 2-3 sentences or maybe one sentence. So how they are different, if they are different, how they are different, or they are same, it's just a play of words. You can write it in the chat box, whatever you can guess by reading these two terms. Very good, very good, very good. I've received 2 answers. Okay, so Anjali writes, career objective is goal one has set, and professional summary is what one has accomplished yet. And Anku writes, career objective shows what you intend to achieve in your career, while professional summary shows where you have worked or what you have achieved. Exactly. I mean, both are on track. Okay, career objective is what your future goals. You look forward and you think what you want to do in future. Professional summary is what you have done till now. So you look back and you think whatever you have achieved. So career objective is future looking. Professional summary is a summary of the past. Do you understand? The timeline is different. So if I ask you, which one is more valid? Career objective is more valid or professional summary is more valid? What will be your answer? Say for example, I gave you a choice that you can either add career objective or you can add professional summary. Which one will you choose? Because you know that the space is limited in your CV. So you can choose only one. Which one will you choose?
Professional summary.
Yes, I can see. People are writing. Anku writes professional summary. Rajoshi writes professional summary. Kiran writes professional summary. Pritam writes professional summary. Ankush also writes professional summary. Why? Why? Because your goals will also tell about what kind of dreamer you are, isn't it? So, but then why do you think that professional summary is more important? Anyone? Anyone? Why the professional summary is more important? Anyone? You can unmute and speak. Rakesh, Anku, Pritam, Vikiran, Rajoshi, Anku, Anjali. Anyone can unmute and speak because that's what you have said, that professional summary is more important. Why?
Because, ma'am, they need what we have achieved, not what we want.
Okay. Okay, but then it's your choice. It's not what they want, but then it's your choice to add. So if you are choosing professional summary, why are you choosing professional summary? So Rakesh, right, it shows that you are committed toward your goal, deep duty, right? It let the viewer know what kind of work we did and what type of experience we had achieved. Okay. The answer is that yes, professional summary is the right answer. Professional summary is the right answer because I asked the question, why is it more valid? It's more valid because it's already validated. Because you have already achieved it. And objective is you are talking about your dreams. You might change your dream. You might change your objective. So it's not that valid. Okay. On the other hand, professional summary is already validated by time. You've already achieved it. So yes, professional summary is Sunil writes, professional summary is more important. That is our experience, and career objective is less important. That it's not our experience. Yes, you have already experienced something. You have already achieved a skill. You have already delivered some responsibilities. I have already taught some courses. I already have taken the responsibility of being warden. It's not that I'm dreaming of. So if there comes a situation because there is not much space left, because I told you that CV is always about managing space. If you have to choose between these two, my suggestion will be choose professional summary over career objective. In fact, these days, people don't even write career objective. What happened with career objective is that, maybe 10, 12 years back, people used to write career objective. That's because, people write it in a very fancy word. I'll share a few career objectives, the way people write their career objective. You'll understand that this is nothing but a kind of fancy sentence. There is nothing substantial here. I can dream big, but then professional summary actually says that what I actually have delivered. So, now people don't read, or maybe people don't even add career objective. People mostly add professional summary. But then on the other side, not everyone will have a professional summary. Okay, imagine you are applying as a fresher. This is your first job you are applying to. So naturally, you don't have a professional summary. For that case, you may add career objective. But then, even then, you can omit this career objective part altogether. Okay. There are CVs without professional summary, without career objective. In fact, that is the more number of CVs. If you have professional summary, add professional summary. If you don't have professional summary, you can add career objective. You choose not to add career objective because, as I told you, this career objective is a very unsubstantial, fancy stuff. And they are hardly focused. What students do is that they copy a common career objective, they write a common career objective, and that is they use for all the CVs, and that career objective is copied from internet, and all the students copy from internet, and even the recruiter also know that this is from internet and this is vague, this does not mean anything. They don't even look at career objective these days. But then, if you are a fresher, as I told you, there are certain tools that you can use to make your CV look longer, then maybe you can use career objective. But then career objective should always be written in a very, very specific way. So this is, with this, I'll start my discussion, and then there is a break for 5 minutes, okay, because I'm panting. I'm exhausted. I've been taking classes for long. So I'll stop for 5 minutes. This is 2:53, and we'll start at 2:58. Yeah. We'll start at 2:58. There's a break for 5 minutes.